do. It's difficult to have strong fingertips and hang on to your beliefs when everything in your being tells you that the metals should be going much, much higher, and yet because of the nonsense on COMEX, it knocks the wind out of people. Seeing the price go down every day for 2 weeks has had an effect, and I would think that in general, order flow is much slower than it's been pretty much at any time over the past 2 years, yet getting product is harder than it's been at any time over the last 2 years. So it's kind of a weird situation. Not a lot of product. Order flow is still strong in comparison to anything I've ever seen prior to COVID. But over the last 2 years, if we were to look at the last few weeks, it's slowed down a bit. And I think people are just tired, Chris. And it's hard to tell people to hang tough that we're right with what we're talking about when manipulation continues to beat you down. And I think it's had an effect over the last few. The premiums, Rafi's exactly right. No one sells junk silver. And so finding it's as rare as hen's teeth these days because no one sells it. This is why they say there is no bull market like a gold bull market, a metals bull market, because no one, even if the price is not behaving the way that we would anticipate, deep down people are smart enough to know that there's a reason, a nefarious reason behind it. And for that, even though it's not performing the way people would like it to, I think that their grip has intensified. So while there's not a huge amount of new business over the last few weeks, there's no selling. No one is selling. So getting things like junk silver, which hasn't been made in over 30 years, is increasingly difficult. So the U.S. Mint, Chris, is not allowed to go into the open market and purchase silver above the average spot price. And so what they're finding is an increasingly difficult situation to find 1,000-ounce bars to make the planchets, to make the silver eagles, because no one really wants to sell those 1,000-ounce bars to the U.S. Mint at spot. And as a result, the Mint has been woefully inadequate in providing enough in the way of supply to meet the demand. And so at $12 over silver spot, Chris, we're cheaper than anyone in the country on silver eagles. And, the thing of it is that the prices have been in this range literally for 2 years on silver eagles. And the question is it a new reality or what? Junk silver, which for years, when you and I started doing these shows, we were selling it at 60, 70, 80 cents over melt. Now you're paying north of $8. It is really hard to get. So silver eagles and junk silver are the two most difficult things to get and carry the highest premiums by far of any items that we sell and anyone sells for that matter in the entire industry. I mean, look, you can still get 1,000-ounce bars, but you have to pay a premium for them, and it's getting them at spot that is impossible. So there still is availability. You can see that by the deliveries off of COMEX. But to buy it at spot is a different story altogether. And, I think that we haven't seen that rush that I expect to see by the industrials. And I'm surprised, actually. I would think the industrials would wise up to the reality that silver is becoming increasingly difficult to get. And I think we will see that moment. But at this point right now, no, Chris, I think there's enough silver for the industrials to gobble up. They just have to pay a premium above spot. And that's something the U.S. Mint can't do, but a private corporation who needs it for their end-use product can. And we're still at that point, but I could see it changing very quickly. I truly could. As we've seen J.P. Morgan go into COMEX over the last few delivery months and provide silver out of their eligible account into the registered to meet those demands. We've also seen a tremendous amount of exchange for physical, where large amounts of silver are being transitioned to the London Metal Exchange to be taken off over there, making it a little bit more difficult for people to really see what's happening in terms of industrial demand or large purchases, institutional demand. But I think we're not very far away, Chris, from seeing that moment where industrials and institutionals are really having a difficult time getting product. At this point right now, we haven't got there, but I would say we're not far away from it. Actually, there's a very large financial advisory out of Minneapolis that I've worked with for years, and I've been receiving a lot of calls from their clients, not from the brokers, but from the clients who are all echoing that same sentiment. You mentioned the NASDAQ off 25%. That puts it at its worst start to a year since 1971, the year that it started. So the big money, who has a lot of money invested and a lot of it through financial advisories, is waking up. They are waking up to what's happening with the S&P, with the Dow, with the Russell 2000, and look at the FANG stocks. They're all way off, and that's what most people own. So yes, those people are waking up, and I think that's what I've always been talking about, that Rubicon you cross where people wake up and say, my God, it's time to transition from making money to preserving it, retaining it. And that's what silver's role is to me in all of this. And
before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
I have bad news for you. If you're not rich by now, you're screwed. And if you're in debt, you're even double screwed. How so, you might wonder? Well, the sad truth is that you're working your whole life to make someone else rich. The mega corporations, the banks, the politicians, everyone is getting richer. They get your money. And what is even worse, they get your time, they get your life. You are not even in a rat race, you're in a financial prison. But what could a solution for you look like? Honestly, I don't know, but I know what a solution for me would look like. It's very simple. I use whatever money I have and I multiply it with 1,000. This could make my life much easier and probably yours as well. If you have $1,000 available and multiply this with 1,000, I believe that this could solve some financial issue for the one or the other. Of course, if you're ugly, you would have to multiply it with much more than 1,000. My name is Markus Dahn, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to 1000x my money. This is not a joke. I know what you may be thinking. What is this guy talking about? How should this work? This is not possible. Well, I made a detailed video where I laid out my plan. And some clever folks might even want to look at this plan and copy it and do exactly what I do. This is just a little hint on the side. You have two options. You leave, you forget what you have seen. You do whatever you're doing and you hope that somehow you get some other results. Good luck with that. Or you click the link below the video. You enter your email address because I'm not showing this to everybody. You at least watch my video on how I plan to 1000x my money. The choice is yours. Make the right choice. Join me. See what a different future you could have. See at least how I intend, how I plan to do the 1000x. So click on the link below, enter your email address, and I see you on the other side. Your Markus Dahn.